Oh,
Oh,
hello.
wait. Focus, Daniel-san. Focus. Are you there? Hello? Did we lose Steve? Or did we lose me? Hello? Oh, no, we lost Steve, everybody. Hey, welcome.
What
There
in
he
the
is.
hell was that?
There he is. I was wondering for a second. I was like, did we lose you or did we lose me?
I think we lost the whole thing. Like, I got this message that said connection lost.
Oh,
was
the whole
weird.
thing got lost.
Yeah, that was
Oh.
weird.
I'll try again.
Well, hopefully the let's see. Let me see if the stream is still running in YouTube. Well, it says it's live.
Oh, there we are.
Everybody
Okay.
still there?
Either Steve is frozen or yeah.
Okay.
Can everybody see us? Throw
Can
us
you
up
guys-
in the
can you
chat.
guys see us now?
Can you see us and hear us? We had a
Can
little
you
bit of
see us
technical
and
difficulty
hear
on
us?
StreamYard side.
It wouldn't be Rebel Nerd Radio without technical difficulties.
That is true. That is true.
That is so weird. Okay.
You're still live. Okay.
All
Good
right.
thing-
So, yeah, Rebel Nerd Radio, welcome.
Yeah.
If you are new, and if you are not new, welcome anyway. Good to see you again. This is episode number 212. And who do we have in the chat room? We have Matthew, of course. He's always first to the show. We have Taco. God dang it. Why is it not letting me? Okay, I think it's a restream issue. Because it's
Could
not
be.
letting me, like, it wouldn't let me hit the go live button, and now it's not letting me hit the show. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, there's Matthew.
Matthew.
And there's Taco Cat.
Right on.
And there's Mr. Steve Spawn. Hello,
Steve.
nerd. There is
Greetings,
Spencer.
fellow
How's it going,
nerds.
Spencer? And there's Joy. Welcome back, Joy.
Hey, Joy.
And I think that's it for now. We may have some more folks wander on in. But yeah, so we're here for another episode, another recap of our show Andor Season 2. We've got some interesting topics to discuss today about the
There's a lot of interesting things to discuss.
most recent episodes, which was 4, 5, and 6, which is 3 BBYs.
Yes, 3 BBY. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's 3 BBY.
Pretty sure it was 3 BBY. Yep.
Yeah. So there's that. So we had 3 episodes, and we will have 3 more tonight after the show concludes. But yeah, so we're here. We're ready to do some Rebel Nerd Radio. I actually just got back like about an hour ago from watching Thunderbolts again. And I say again because I watched it I saw it at the Thursday premiere. Watched an early showing of it on Thursday. And then decided today was my day off. There wasn't really anything going on. Didn't have much to do. I thought I was going to get my front windshield of my car fixed today, but I have to wait till tomorrow. So I was like, any movies out that I haven't seen? So I checked my app. Nope. I'll just go watch Thunderbolts again.
It's not a bad. I mean, it's not a bad way to spend the day. I mean,
not a bad way to spend the day off, but yeah. No, Thunderbolts is not already out of theaters, Spencer. Maybe in your neck of the woods where all the hillbillies are, but here it is still.
It just got in.
Yeah, just started on Thursday. But yeah, so I went and saw that again. Sunday, Spencer and I did another episode of the Comic Den. We did it on a different time period because I work on Sundays now. We
Mm,
had to wait until I got home from work.
mm.
We're doing that in the evening now, and we did it at shit. What time did we do it? Uh, 6 o'clock my time. So
Oh,
same as my
apparently Spencer says it's a joke. Apparently, he sent you a joke about Thunderbolts.
I didn't get it. You didn't send me anything, Spencer. I didn't get anything, so maybe you forgot to. Anyway, we got Smirking Bear in the house.
Yes, smirking bear.
He says greetings to all the nerds in the chat. And
Yes,
Tina is kind of here. She is out shopping.
shopping.
3 episode arc of Andor was awesome, and I love the Thunderbolts. Yeah.
Mhm.
Tina is actually going to go see it again this weekend as well.
Nice,
So yeah, we did.
nice.
Anyway, I was saying Spencer and I did our comic den thing, and we had a special May the 4th be with you episode, and talked about a um, Star Wars comic book, and this is the one we talked about:
Nice.
Dark Lords of the Sith, originally
Nice.
published by Dark Horse Comics back in 1990 something. I probably mentioned it on the show when it was published.
Mm.
Now I can't remember though. 96. Yeah, good one. But yeah, other than work, which this was my first full week of doing the 10-hour shift thing. That is so brutal. It's rough, man.
Yeah.
Sitting there staring at a screen for 10 hours. Uh,
At least,
Andrew is in the house. Haven't seen you in a
Andrew.
while.
Hey, Andrew.
Welcome back.
I get the advantage of at least when I'm working for that amount of time, I at least am outside looking at different landscapes.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
fair. What
Yeah.
did you do this week besides work?
Man. Well, it's very rare anymore, and my girlfriend's work situation on the weekends changed. So it's very rare that we actually get weekends where her and I are home together. And we had zero plans other than we had to go over to somebody's house for a little dinner. And then, but other than that, Saturday and Sunday, we had nothing going on. And Spencer, or who was it? Was it Spencer Bear? Who mentioned it? Oh, Smirking Bear. So Smirking Bear mentioned that, yes, you folks are actually seeing a different backdrop of my collection. This is actually not in my room. This is actually in the living room. I've recently moved all of
Mhm.
my podcast stuff and moved it into the living room temporarily because, and you're seeing a different section of my the prominent part of my collection, which is the Rebel or the Black Series helmets in my lightsaber collection. As you can see here, you can see some of my pictures from previous celebrations over here. Some more helmets, and you actually can't see it, but the Razor Crest and the Ghost from HasLab are right above my head. If you want to see my front door and you don't mind looking at my front door, I can show you the wide angle, and you'll actually be able to see everything. But me and my girlfriend being home on the weekends, we decided that it was a good weekend to do a bunch of renovations, throw away a bunch of stuff, do a bit of spring cleaning, and completely redo the house. And part of that was tearing apart and reorganizing my Star Wars room and my collection. And so I had to move everything out that wasn't part of the collection so I could do some of that renovating. And so that's what we spent Saturday and Sunday doing was we tore the house apart and put it back together and bought some new furniture, some new cabinetry to kind of get things organized, and I did the same thing in the Star Wars room. I call it my Star Wars room, by the way. But yeah,
What
so
else would you call
well,
it?
that's the only thing in it is Star Wars stuff. So it's my whole collection's in there. But yeah, and like I've told people in the past, it has definitely bled over into this part of the house. So as you can see from the backdrop, you can tell there's all of my stuff is in here, and yeah, so we, like I said, we did a bunch of reorganizing, a bunch of stacking, It's a great thing to do too. I highly recommend it because once you get rid of crap that you have sitting in piles for a year and you don't do anything with, and you can actually put some new cabinetry up and get things done and get things organized, it actually makes a lot more room. And the same thing's going on in the Star Wars room. I'm doing a lot of reorganizing, a lot of shuffling, getting some things put up and getting some things moved around and packaging up some things I have doubles of and even I dare say getting atrocious with some of my stuff that I can probably part with. So Steve's probably going to get a phone call with pictures here pretty quick, going, "Hey man, I got this extra stuff if you would be interested." So, and then if he's not, I might pass some of that along to you folks to see if anybody else in the chat or any of our listeners would be interested in seeing any of it or and be interested in taking it off my hands. Because
First dibs
I
right here.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like all the stuff I have. I really hate to get rid of things, but unfortunately, I've got just some stuff that I can't keep everything because I just don't have the room in my house for it, and it's getting to that point where I have to get selective, not only about the things that I purchase, but about the things that I keep. And so, yeah, I'm currently going through everything. Like I said, that's why everything has moved out here, and you guys are seeing the more prominent parts of my collection in this area. And like I said, I can uh, I can do a wide angle shot if you guys want to see it in its entirety, the entire wall. It's actually a lot bigger than what it looks like. So
Spencer and Tina in the chat are talking about their Dungeons and Dragons group.
yeah,
So,
nice.
you did something else on Wednesday. Yeah,
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, we did something on Wednesday.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we did something on Wednesday.
If
So if
you
you
were
guys didn't
not
get a chance,
there out there,
yeah, if you weren't able to make it to the chat and you weren't able to be here on Wednesday, we did a special impromptu episode with myself, Steve, and Mari, aka Frosty Britches. We were able to talk about Star Wars Celebration and our experience and some of the things that we saw and some of the things that we did there. And throughout probably the next, I would say, probably good 6 months during, or not, well, I wouldn't say that many. Probably for the next couple months, I would say I have stuff that I'm going to be showcasing that I brought back, collectibles. Even going to have an episode when we get the whole thing put together regarding swag because we did a whole swag exchange with a bunch of people that were there at Celebration, and I got a bunch of swag that I want to showcase. So yeah, we'll be showing that over the course of the probably next month or probably next couple months because I've got quite a bit of stuff that I want to present to everybody, including some stuff tonight. And yeah, so if you didn't get a chance to make it to our Wednesday special episode, please do. It has to do with celebration and some of the experience. I, of course, have been to quite a few. Steve's even been to one or two, I think. One,
just one.
right? Just one. Steve's been to one before. He was in
Just the Chicago
Chicago.
one.
I've been to all of them since 2017 in Orlando, and this was actually Mari or Frosty Britches. This was her very first celebration over in Japan. So check that episode out. It's a real cool, just little exchange of experiences and fun that we had, and pictures, and even some show me your thingies having to do with celebration. So yeah, check that up. Check that
And
that extra Wednesday episode out.
I think for Los Angeles, we are going to try, if they do the podcast panel, I think I'm going to try and figure out a way for us to get on those panels.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think for everybody that I talk to that I know that would normally go to for celebrations, they're all planning on being there. So it's going to be.
That'd be nice.
I'm hoping that if we do get a chance to do that and we get a chance to meet up with everybody, I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to bring everybody together that people that will probably end up being friends that and being fellow, like Star Wars nerds because we're
Yeah.
all in the same boat together. We'll end up meeting Steve. If you go, you'll meet a bunch of people, and we'll end up meeting a bunch of people that you don't know, but you'll end up leaving with a lot of friends. So
And there'll
it'll
probably
be,
be a lot of people because just like at Chicago, there's a lot of people who I didn't necessarily know, but saw them on social media and was like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I know who you are. And then ended up hanging out with them for a great deal of celebration.
Yeah, Chicago, that happened to me. Anaheim, that happened to me. I even have that happened a little bit in London, but in Japan, I actually met just a bunch of people between myself and my girlfriend. We actually met a lot of people that we met a lot of people that we're just now friends with, that we communicate with all the time. People from different places, from not just America either, from America, from Great Britain, from Canada, from just all over the place. There's just people everywhere, and that seems to be the like I said, that seems to be the theme. Every time we go to a celebration, you leave with more friends and more people that you know on Facebook and social media than you showed up with. Especially
Yeah,
if you get out there, if you cosplay, if you get in with the swag, like I said, which we're already putting together a booklet and some things about swag and some things that we got while we're there, stickers and patches and all kinds of cool stuff.
very cool.
That eventually one of these times we'll go ahead and showcase for Show Me Your Thingy. So that is definitely coming up.
You are right, Bear. We've got 2 years to fund our celebration trip.
Yep.
I
Yep.
call a crowd fund.
Crowdfund. Hell
That will be
yeah.
on top. That will be on top of any patron contributions because patron is just here to keep us going.
hmm Yeah, that's just to keep the stream going, which this morning, which obviously this afternoon we had a problem with, but
Yeah.
but hopefully that's all worked out. It was kind of a, but I mean, then again, I
In
mean, it
theory,
is
keep it
us.
going.
It is us though. So I mean, it's not like we don't have these kind of issues. And yeah,
Yeah.
people get to sit at me and stare at me, going, what happened?" for
I,
5 minutes.
I still think it's a StreamYard thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we're gonna call it that. How about that?
yeah. Anyway, yeah, if you're just joining, this is episode 212 of Rebel Nerd Radio. And if you are not already following us, I got this poster that I made last week. I spread this on social media. If you are not already
hmm
subscribing to our YouTube channel, go there to youtube.com/ at Rebel Nerd Radio. And you can also find it by going to this nifty bio link that I just put up there. And, well, if I could get it to stream too, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So, right there, hovering underneath us is our stream link, bio.link/Rebel Nerd Radio. That will take you to all of our social media links. So if you want to hang out with us on social media, be it Twix or Instagram or Threads or Blue Sky, there's the bio link right there. Or there's our Discord. What I actually really should do is I should make one of these like highlighted ones Discord
hmm
so that we can get to it quicker. But as you can
hmm
see, it also has the link to the. Now look at there, I haven't updated it. It's supposed to have the newest episode of our YouTube uh, show, but as you can see, that's not updated. I'll get that updated. Anyway, yeah, I should put a Discord on there, get more people into our Discord so you can come on in the Discord and have all kinds of weird chats with us.
Extended nerd conversations.
Extended nerd conversations. That's right.
Extended nerd conversations.
But yeah, that'll take you to our YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe and like all that good stuff. And speaking of our YouTube channel, we had a minor jump in subscribers last week,
Which is awesome.
which was cool. I like it. And we are now up
hmm
to 265. So we're on our way.
Excellent. Excellent. If you're some of our new followers, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you to our old followers.
Yeah.
We're plugging along. We're pushing our way to 500.
Yeah. That bio link will also take you to our merchandise page where you can buy cool t-shirts. There's our merch page right there, our banner. You go down here. Here's all the different designs for t-shirts that you can buy. We've got this Rebel Nerd official shirt, which is pretty cool, I think.
And as we found out last week, you actually can get baseball jersey.
You can. And get Jason's. So you got to get it a weird way, because usually it used to be you could just click on this and find it, but you actually have to go down to this thing right here and go to see, because you can get a hoodie too, and a hat. But you got to go to adult apparel and then click on the baseball shirt. So for this particular one, you can get the black and white or the white and black, which I'm going to turn that one off because the logo looks really stupid on that one. Or you can get it in red. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn that one off too. That one does not look good.
I think the rest of them are all going to look the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to turn all those off. Because I think that logo only works
good with the black background for the first one.
Black background.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a shame. We'll figure that out.
There you go.
Out the kinks on the merch page, of course. Then we got this Rebel Nerd Emperor shirt, which also I do not suggest trying to get on a light because that logo doesn't show up very well either. And then we've got this one with the Stormtrooper. That one's
nice.
Cool. I like that one. And all of these, as you can see, I think almost all of these go up to 5XL. So if you're fat like me. And then we got this other one. It's just a circle. Just a little plain logo.
It's almost retro like.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. But yeah, these yeah.
Nice.
Cool little merch page if you're into merchandise.
I've been seeing a lot of the 80s fashion coming back into play, so that might be kind of the same thing.
That's right, Spencer. Join the Rebel Nerd Army.
Yes, Spencer.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we are. I'll agree with that. We are an offshoot of the Rebel Alliance. We just do silly things like showing off our thingies to the Empire. That's right.
We like waving our thingies in their general direction.
That's right. So the other link that will take you to is going to be to our Patreon, where you too can become a patron for only $2 a month.
Cheaper than coffee.
And you get, cheaper than coffee. You get, so right now we're not doing anything exclusive, but we're about to start more exclusive content for our new RPG game, which I don't think we have a set schedule on yet. But we're going to be playing Cyberpunk, and those will be on the Patreon.
You do, however, get exclusive content to our just recently finished Star Wars RPG.
That's right.
Yes.
You do. You also get early access content that will eventually be on our YouTube channel, but you patrons get to see it first. And for the most part right now, that is our Batcave series, which we're actually kind of behind on, but we'll do some more of that. With this new job and new schedule, it's just been scheduling has been weird. But then also you will get some stickers. I got a couple of stickers here. I am going to get some stickers made for the new designs, the Stormtrooper one. Get that one, and I think I'm going to get one made for the Emperor Nerd one too.
That one's cool. I like that one. Actually, get all three of them. The regular one, the Emperor one, and the Stormtrooper one are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now we just have to design. Now we just have to design. Now we just have to design a Jedi one.
Yeah, we'll have to figure one out. But yeah, once you sign up as a patron, you'll get those. And those of you that have signed up and haven't got yours yet, I'm working on it. Just
Yeah.
bear with me. What else do they get? They get their name mentioned on this live stream, which is what we're going to do now. Without further ado, here is a big thank you to our current patrons. Thank you to all our current patrons: Dave Brown, Steve Spawn, Justin Hensley, Kelly and Chris Olson, Chantel Brennan, Matthew, Taco Cat, Charlie Kirby, and our most recent and newest member of the patron army, Brian. Thank you all for contributing your hard earned money to this silly little endeavor that we put forth.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. But yes,
And,
we
and
appreciate it.
tell your friends to subscribe as well, because that's
Yeah.
very important. We need to get more subscribers.
Yeah.
Subscribe and smash that like button. All right. What do we got next? I know what we got next.
I know what we got next.
We are going to be showing our
Our
thing.
face.
All right. You want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I got two, so I'll show one of them, and then I'll show you
Okay.
the other.
Well,
You show yours, and then
I've
I'll
got
show.
to open, because here's the deal with my thingies tonight,
Yep.
folks.
Yes. Yep.
I have two packages that were sent to me by a person who I will not mention. No, I'm kidding. The person who's sitting right over there. I got two packages. I have no idea what they are. So this is all going to be a
I
surprise to me,
sent
because
Steve-O some
they are
surprises.
still in their
So not
packages.
only does he get to be surprised, but you folks get to be surprised as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting show me your
Yeah.
thingy. So I'm going to show mine first while
Yeah.
while Steve is
Yeah.
unboxing his.
Let me get
And
one. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Show
okay,
me
so
your thingy.
show
Whip
me
it
your
out,
thingy.
baby.
So yeah. Oh, how you doing? So for those of you who didn't get a chance to make it the celebration, I kind of wanted to show some of the t-shirts that I got too. And so this is one of the t-shirts that we got. This was actually what's real interesting about this one is that this particular t-shirt is actually, I don't know, I'll kind of, yeah, it's Ahsoka, if you can't see, and it's got the
Yep.
pillars behind it and that kind of stuff. And then you can't see it at the bottom, but it says Star Wars Japan in Japanese. But basically, what happened was is that if you showed up early to pick up your badges from the will call at Celebration, they had a very special exclusive T-shirt that was being made while you were there, and you actually had four special T-shirts you could choose from. One of them was Ahsoka, one of them was a Stormtrooper, one of them was Darth Vader, and one of them was a black one that had a manga Luke Skywalker and Leia scene on it. So yeah, so there was a little bit of a problem with the printers. They had some problems getting them out. But we finally got we finally got ours. So yeah, that's the t-shirt that I got.
Very cool.
Which is cool. So yeah,
Are
it's
you folks
basically
in the chat
Ahsoka.
still there? Because it's gotten really quiet in the chat. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, make sure everybody's still there and we didn't like lose our
Are
connection or
we
some
having
nonsense.
stream issues again?
I hope not. Are you guys hearing us and seeing us okay? Is everything going good? We had a little glitch earlier, so I just want to make sure everything's still going okay.
Okay, we have
Yeah.
Sparky Bear pipe
Yeah,
in.
Smirking Bear came up with something, so we're looking pretty good. Yeah, we're
Some of
looking
the
good. So people
Japanese
can obviously
anime styles were pretty cool for Celebration this year. Yeah.
yes, they were. They had some really cool artwork and some really cool some very cool prints that came out and that sort of thing. So
All right. So here's the first one. I got the
okay.
tape off.
Yep. Smirking Bear says we're here. Taco Cat says he's seeing us, so we're
Okay. And okay, this is a lot more effort than I thought it was going to be, but that's all right.
good. Good, because I didn't want it.
Makes the
Good,
surprise.
because I didn't want it
Okay.
damaged. It didn't want it damaged.
Okay. This is some sort of poster.
Yep.
I believe. So.
Yep.
Oh, is this
Oh,
that?
oh! Now the light bulb came on, people.
Oh, look at that. You're not going to be able to see all this, folks. This is a big poster.
Yeah,
It is the 20 years of Lucasfilm animation. Look how big Bindu is on that. That's amazing. Yeah, so you got representation from Rebels, and there's Clone Wars. There's all kinds of stuff on here.
There's all kinds
You
of now,
got
Steve.
Bad Batch on there. Heck yeah.
You'll have to look through that because there's a bunch of little like Easter eggs and bunch of little things that are going on in the background of that poster. So
It is
you'll
a
have
pretty
to,
awesome poster.
yeah. So when you
Joy
get a
says she has
chance,
to duck out, going to downtown Disney for dinner. So, all right, good to have you. Been a
awesome
while there,
Joy,
Joy.
awesome Joy.
Yeah, this is an awesome poster. Thank you very much, sir.
Not a problem.
Um,
Not a problem.
I'm going to. Where the hell am I going to put this? I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it
I think
out.
that X-Men poster might have to come down.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, you remember you were telling me in Japan. You said see if I could find one, and yeah, I found one.
Yes, very cool, very cool. You know what? Speaking of Star Wars animation, did you watch Tales of the Underworld yet?
No, I did not. I have not got
Neither
a
did
chance
I.
to watch it yet. I need to watch it probably tomorrow. I will probably be watching it tomorrow.
I'm probably I don't know. I might wait. I might actually wait until Andor is over with. Um, that way, when we do our uh, episode about Tales of the Underworld,
Hmm.
um, if everything will be fresh in my mind. How many
Yeah,
episodes were there actually of Tales
not
of the
sure.
Underworld? I need to look at that because I'm thinking depending on how many there are, we might have to cut that into duplicate. So there's 6 episodes. We might have to break up that. Oh no. Well, let's watch it first and then make a decision later. I was thinking maybe cut
Okay,
it into two halves.
nice.
Anyway, there's my first thingy.
There's your first thing. Do you want me to show my other one while you're unboxing that other one, or do
Yeah,
you have
this
it open
one
already?
was. I have absolutely no idea what this is.
Okay, you want me to show mine while you're unboxing that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so my other thingy for this evening is when we went to some of the while we were in Tokyo, obviously, we went to Disney by the Sea and we went to Disneyland while we were there. And I wanted to pick up something special from there because when we go to places like Disneyland or Warner Brothers or something like that, I always like to pick up something that's specific to those locations. So what I actually found for this location is really cool, and there's actually a whole diorama with this thing. So you'll kind of have to visualize it because I can't pick up the whole thing at once. So you're going to have to kind of visualize this here, people. So, but what I found is it exclusive to Tokyo Disney Resorts is actually a Mickey dressed in samurai armor, and
Okay.
it's a resin statue of Mickey dressed in samurai armor. So I'll kind of show you the back of it a little bit, and I'll show you the sides of it there. But yeah, he's actually what he'll do is he'll actually sit in the seated position, and I'll show you this. I'll show you this as part of it too. But I mean, there's actually like dragon on the helmet and
Mm,
studs, and like the armor is very intricately detailed, and you can kind of see everything that's set up here. He's sitting on a wooden box
very cool.
and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's really cool. And then you see the headdress. You can see all that. It's traditional, like a traditional samurai headdress, which
Right.
is
Mickey's about to kick some ass.
yeah, hell yeah, dude, hell yeah. So yeah, that's cool. And then as part of his accessories, you actually get a stand that has a bow on it.
Okay.
So you actually get a
Seems
bow
like
with
a
it.
sword would have made more sense, but all
Well,
right.
oh, okay, okay. Hold that thought. Hold that
Oh,
thought.
okay. Okay.
You actually get a katana.
Very nice.
You actually get a sword on a stand, just like that. And so you also get in Japanese. It says what it says is it says Tokyo Disney Resorts
Okay.
is what it says. So you get that little plaque that goes along with it in Japanese. And then as a backdrop, this is the backdrop that you get that you can actually
Oh, very cool.
this is painted, yeah, painted backdrop, and you can kind of fold it in like that so it goes like that. So it's obviously it's like the castle and then Mount Fuji and then a bonsai tree and stuff like that. So that's the backdrop that goes behind him. And then the sword and the bow go on each side, and the Tokyo Disney thing goes in the little corner. And then on top of that, let me fold this so it doesn't actually fall down. And then on top of that, they give you it's a foam like grass base that's
That he
foam
can
or
sit on.
that's yeah, it's padded so that way you can set him. I kind of give you an idea. You just set him on top of that like that, and then like the samurai sword goes on this side, and then imagine in the back is where you get the three
Backdrop.
plates on the back that sit on the back like a backdrop. Yeah, and then your bow and stuff goes on like this side, like or actually it goes like this,
Okay.
and then this sits here like this, and then you'll get that display like right behind it. Like I said, it's about the only thing I can't put up there because I'm afraid I'm going to drop it because if I drop this thing, it's probably going to break.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. Then you get the backdrop behind here like so,
Hmm.
and that sets up the whole thing. So oh here, oh, it's upside down. It's upside down. It's upside down.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Teamwork.
Yeah, I'm
Teamwork
getting
makes the
yeah.
dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
very
you
nice.
kind of get that's the effect you get. So yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, the beautiful Julie in the hand model.
Hand model. Yep.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
hand modeling for me. So
Spen-
yeah, that
Spencer
that
said,
is
oh, sorry. Yeah, Spencer said that it focuses on two characters, so breaking it up into two would make sense.
yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be
Anyway,
cool. So
what
yeah,
were you saying? You're finishing up your
no, that basically is exclusive to the Tokyo Disney resorts and such. So yeah, that was the only place I've ever seen that. It's the only place we ever found it, and I was like, yeah, I got to bring that home. That is such a cool piece. I couldn't. I'll
Matthew.
what did you say?
Feels like I'm watching
It
QVC.
feels like you're on a QVC. Yeah, but I'm not selling it to you, Matthew.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You ain't getting
I'm
my
not selling it to you.
animation poster. It ain't gonna happen, pal.
Yeah, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So you're not getting that. So
All right. So I think I've got it all the way open. Let's see what this is. Okay, well, there's more than one thing in here. Oh,
yeah.
of course, we have. Oh, this is a Hot Toys. I know who it is, but the packaging makes it much harder to see. Uh, but it's a Hot Toys Boba Fett riding his slave one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a little.
Yeah, there's the picture of it. That's what it
There's a
looks like
picture of it.
inside the box. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Did this come from Celebration?
That okay. Let me tell you a little story about that. So back in the day, everybody knows about Toys R Us, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows about Toys R Us. We don't really have Toys R Us here anymore. Now in Japan, we were in a mall in Japan near the convention center, and we were walking through the mall, and they had a Toys R Us and Babies R Us in the mall there in Japan. And they had a whole section for Star Wars stuff because they knew all the people from Celebration were going to be in town. So that was one of the things was there, and I saw that, and I went, "Oh yeah, Steve being a fan of Boba Fett, I gotta get that. I
Yeah, I'm not
gotta
gonna
get that.
open that. I don't think I'm open that. I'm gonna keep it closed.
You're not gonna open that?
No, I'm gonna keep it closed. All right, what else we got in here? We got something else that looks much larger.
Yes.
I can only imagine. Oh boy. Okay, it is a micro galaxy. Oh, look at that. It is a micro galaxy squadron battle droid battle pack. So I got the I got a vulture droid. Okay, that's a vulture droid, and there's the there's a little minifigures too. Bunch of
Mm-hmm.
little battle droids. I can't remember the name of this ship in the middle. It's the
The
it's the
tank.
tank. I mean, yeah, it's the tank.
Yeah, it's a separatist tank.
Right, right. So okay, so this one's a battle droid too. It's just not open.
Yeah, yeah. There should be two vulture droids, a tank, and then all the little minifigs that go along with them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I have no idea
Hmm.
what I'm gonna do with that.
So yeah, so I open for the most part I open those, except for the ones I get like they were ultra rare.
Yeah,
I actually have all of those, the tank, the vulture droid, I already had all of them. And I didn't realize that I had all of those already. So I was like, well, why do I need them both? So I'm like, okay, well, now
yeah.
you're getting my duplicates.
Now I'm
You're
getting.
getting my duplicates.
You can
And
buy
that
all the duplicates you want.
Yeah, and I think where is that? And also that was exclusive to. I think it was exclusive to the Disney store.
Okay.
You could only get that pack in the Disney store. We picked that up at a Disney store in Dallas, Texas, was where we got that. Remember that one that I came through town? I saw you. We met you up
Yeah,
for
that's
dinner,
right.
and then I went to yeah. I brought that back, and yeah. So when I got back, I realized that I already had those, and I'm like, I don't need duplicates. So there you go.
You thank you very much.
Yeah.
More Star wars swag. You guys need to come back down this way and we should take a trip to Dallas together and
Hmm.
go down to that place. That would
Yes,
be
that
cool.
Star Wars store is awesome, and there's a couple comic book stores and a few other things down there that would be
Yeah,
great to visit.
it would
And
be. Yeah,
actually, for those of you who may or may not know this, but in the first part of August, Rebel ScumCon is going on.
that's right. In Dallas.
Yes, in Fresco, actually.
Yeah.
And actually, Maury hit me up and asked me if we're going, and I said we might try to make a trip down there just for the weekend, just to go to Rebel ScumCon and see everybody. So might be a good opportunity, Steve.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to go to Rebel Scum Con. Um, number one, because Sam Witwer is going to be there.
Yep.
But there was also a recent announcement, like this week, that Katie's going to be there.
Oh, nice.
Bo-Katan herself is going to be
Nice.
there.
Katie Sackhoff. That's awesome.
So,
Cool.
yeah, that would be. Let me see. Let me pull up their site and find out how much the tickets are because I don't think it was like horrible.
Mm-mm.
It was actually yeah the 3-day pass is $120.
Hmm.
Um, which isn't bad.
Spencer Rebel ScumCon is in Fresco, is just north of Dallas and Fresco.
Yeah, I'm going to put a link to Rebel Scum Con in our show description tonight,
Hmm.
so you can check that out. But yeah, I've actually never heard of this convention, and I only heard about it because there was a big announcement on social media that Sam Witwer is going to be there, and I was like, oh, okay, well,
Hmm.
that sounds interesting. Oh, wait a minute, it's in Dallas. Okay, yes, I need to
Now,
check that one out.
obviously, me and the girlfriend, if we come, we're not going to be in costume because Dallas in August is going to be murder.
Oh, it's
To
going to be
try to
hot.
be
Yeah.
yeah, it's to try to be in costume at the same time. That's going to be murder. So, I mean, even if we make it, unfortunately, we will not be doing cosplay. So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, I don't want to sweat to death and die. I'm good.
It looks like
So,
there's going to be some cool panels too, but um, there's like a prequel panel.
nice.
Um, there's a Boba Fett panel. What? Wait, what? Oh, that was
Uh-oh.
from last year. Never mind. That's from last year.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's going to be panels. There's going to be guests. Sam Witwer and Katie are, of course, the
Featured guests.
Two biggest ones. Um, there's also, let's see, Matthew Wood is going to be there. Um, Simon, I'm not going to try to pronounce that guy's name. He was one of the Mandalorians in the show Mandalorian. He was
Oh, nice.
part of the group that Bo-Katan was a part
Okay.
of. Julian Glover, who played General Maximilian Veers, will be there.
Nice.
Aidan Barton, who actually had two roles in The Revenge of the Sith. He played Baby Luke and Baby Leia. Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Another actor from Star Wars, Dermot Crowley, who played General Crix Madine from Return of the Jedi.
Oh, nice.
And so there's a lot of actors here that played smaller roles.
Nice.
Um,
Now, granted,
but
people, it probably won't be on the same level as like Celebration, obviously,
no, but I think
but it's still going to be a fun local Star Wars con, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So it sounds like we might try to make a effort to be there. So
yeah, I'm gonna look into whether they have a like a podcast panel
hmm
and see how much that will cost. And uh, yeah, we'll get to check it out. But yeah,
hmm
that's not a very long drive for me. So um, not quite close enough to where we can go every day and drive back home, but
yeah,
still pretty close. Still pretty close.
yep.
All right. Well, that was it for showing our thingies, and now it is time to talk some Andor season 2, episode 4, 5, and 6, which I have dubbed the Ghorman Arc.
hmm
A lot of Ghorman featured on here. First episode was entitled Ever Been to Ghorman? The second one in the arc was titled I Have Friends Everywhere. And the third one was titled What a Festive Evening. So a lot of stuff was going on in here. Couple of questions that I had regarding the show. Before I get to the questions, actually, what were your thoughts overall about this 3 episode arc? Just general feelings over it.
My first thought on the very first 3 episodes was there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, even more, I mean, they overloaded it. It was like, I mean, it was to me, it was like they just turned it up to three on this one. All 3 episodes, even more going on, a lot of things shifting back and forth, a lot of things going, some unexpected things happened that I did not see coming. Including some characters' story arcs, some individual characters' involvement in certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very surprising. I mean, I didn't think there was near as much. Obviously, there's not near as much action in this one, in this three-story arc, but it's weaving literally like the spiders. It's weaving the threads for something that's going on, and I have a
Mm-hmm.
feeling that what's going on there is kind of along the same lines as like the prison arc. There's something going on that we're not privy to yet. That there's
Yeah.
something bigger. That there's a reason they're there. There's a reason they need that planet. But like the story arc, you don't know what it is. You don't know what they're building. There's just speculation. And something having to do with the fibers that they're weaving with those spiders, having to do with it has something to do with. I mean, if Krennic's involved, it has something to do with the Death Star, but obviously we don't know yet how it all fits together. And I'm
Right.
sure it's something that's going to come up.
Right.
But this 3 episode arc was so much like intrigue and so much like intensity in acting in characters and how their arcs played out and kind of the direction that they're going. There was so much of that going up, and I'm kind of interested because if we have another year jump, how is that going to lead into how these characters, how everything ends up with them? So I'm very interested.
Well,
It's
I imagine that in the next arc, the armory is going to be completely built,
yes.
and we're going to find out, like like Barry was actually saying, this arc was a good setup. It was a very good setup to tonight's.
Hmm.
Um, Couple of things about the episodes in general um, that I thought were very intriguing. And again, grounded, like we talked about last week, grounded in reality, like makes it kind of hits you harder because this is shit that actually does happen. But
Yeah.
in Andor, we are getting, at least in live action, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we are getting the first taste of actual PTSD in Star Wars
Hmm.
because Bix has been through
Hmm.
some shit and she's got some mental issues going on there.
Hmm.
And that is clear cut PTSD. And we
Oh
haven't
yeah.
seen
Well,
that in Star Wars yet, not to this
no,
extent.
no.
Uh,
She's. I mean, yeah. Her whole deal. Yeah, they pretty much ran her character through the ringer, which is
she's
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 got some
having a rough time.
hardcore. She's having a very rough time, man. And I'll be honest with you. I think it's. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it because you see the whole, like you said, you see the whole PTSDs and how it's starting to affect her and how things are really starting to come around because she just keeps getting hit and keeps getting hit and keeps getting hit and things just keep happening to her. And it's like the most extreme things from mental torture to sexual assault to the nightmares to everything that's going on. She just can't catch a break. And even Lothan coming in and trying to convince her to get back into it when she's had
Mhm.
so many traumatizing things happen to her. And now he's trying to put her back into, trying to throw her back into the fray when she's had so many things happen to her. It's like they took I it surprises me with her character because I don't know if that was the original intention for her, but at the same time, it's like I'm interested to see how it plays out for her.
Yeah,
Because especially at the end of the episode, because or at the end of this 3 episode arc,
yeah.
um, how this whole thing ends, which I'm like I said, I'm sure we'll get into.
Hmm.
It's just yeah, now that she's
Yeah,
gotten on that offensive. And literally, that's kind of what she's done is she's went on the offensive of, okay, I'm tired of this. Now I'm going to do what I want to do. And
yeah.
I think it's a direct result of what Lothan, the things that are going on with Lothan, which I'm sure we're going to get into that as well.
I
And
do
so
actually
it's,
have a topic about Luthien that I wanted to.
yeah, which I know you said you wanted to kind of get into that too. So I think it'll kind of all, as we get into the topics and as we talk about it a little bit more in depth, I think we'll get to that point. But I
And
don't want to jump like from the beginning to the end.
no, I
So.
got you. Bear did mention something that I am going to get to that. I actually have something to say about that. But this thing with the PTSD and a lot of this reality hard hitting stuff going on in Andor further cements the idea that while this is Star Wars and this is great Star Wars,
Hmm.
it is not for kids.
No,
Andor is grown up Star Wars. It is
yeah,
not. This is
which is
not something you want your little kids to be watching because there is some deep shit going on in the show.
yeah, and I mean, I mean, we talked about like the sexual assault part being
Yeah,
being something that was really like wow, I can't believe they kind of went there with that,
yeah. But you got
and now they've even hit on more topics.
Right.
Because
We're
I
getting
mean,
into it.
we've heard about this before, but we've never actually seen it done in Star Wars before.
Yeah. Well, you got some mental issues going on there, but you've
Yeah,
got while Star Wars as a whole is pretty deeply rooted in politics
right,
already. I
right,
mean, it's Star Wars.
right.
Wars are by nature a political
If
failure
you're not,
to a
if
failure
you're,
to discuss. It's
if
it's
you're not,
political.
if you're not part of the war, you're part of the politics,
Right.
basically.
So, but Andor just gets into it at the very deep level. Like, how does this war and how does the politics of the empire affect just your normal people who just want to keep living their life and don't have anything to do with the rebellion or the empire? They're just getting fucked over daily.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just hits you harder.
Which is like that's the thing that people always talk about is like people weren't sure about having a story that was being told outside of, say, the Jedi versus the Sith, which is the fantasy side of Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. But what we're seeing how it affects people aren't that don't have the privilege of those abilities, who don't live within that part of the bubble, who don't live
Mhm.
within the bubble of the Skywalker saga. They actually live outside of it, and they're affected in abnormal ways by what we're seeing. And I think this is something that's great about what Andor is doing is it's showing that side of it. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna I know I'm reaching to like future projects and things like that, but I'm hoping that this really does, like cement the fact that they're going to see the value in telling these types of stories, and we get more stuff like this
Yeah. So,
because
so Bear,
people are loving.
Bear, we did, but we are making an effort to kind of chopping things down to about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So we
We're,
if you didn't notice, we're not doing the news segment anymore.
Mhm.
So we're
Now we will do news if it's Star Wars related and it's really important.
and it's really important.
But before we were doing like general topics and things like that,
Yeah, we're just
and we're
doing
trying to make it just a little bit shorter, just to keep people engaged, so that way people don't get bored
up to two
and
hours or
that kind of stuff. So
more.
we're just
And
trying to
give
we're
you
just
more
trying to
time to go
shorten things
watch
down just a
Andor.
little bit. Yeah. And we
Exactly.
get done in time to go watch the next episode of Andor, so you don't
Yeah.
have to listen to us yammer on while the next episode is playing in the background.
But yeah, so we're so yeah. Andor is not a kids show, and I agree, Matthew. There was a lot of people out there wanting adult Star Wars, but when they get it, they're like ditching it. Yeah.
Well, he corrected himself. He said bitching instead of
Oh
ditching, which
well, there
yes,
are people. There are people that are ditching it. They're like, yeah, I'm tapping out.
there are people that
There
are tapping out because of the adult subject matter, but there
there
are people that are bitching because of the adult subject matter
there
too.
are people that are tapping out on this show because of the sexual abuse issue,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, that's fine.
And like I said, I said my piece on that. I
Yeah,
I
we talked
think
about that
it's
last week. We don't need to talk about it anymore.
yeah. We talked about that. So yeah, if you yeah. We
But
address that topic. Obviously,
yeah,
we don't mention individuals or people. We don't care about what other podcasters are doing. We care about the story. We care about our opinions, and we care about our listeners' opinions, and that's it. So
yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the other thing I wanted to touch on is actually um, very closely related to what Bear said earlier. The pacing on this show is quite a bit different than the first season.
Yes.
Um, so all of the people that complained in the first step or first season that the pacing was too slow, you don't have that argument now. The pacing is not slow.
Yeah.
They, like you said here, Bear, where'd it go? God damn it. Yeah. They hit the ground running and haven't stopped. I mean, the pacing is very fast.
Oh, I'm 100% in belief, and even I'm kind of guilty of it a little bit. Is if you don't pay attention to every little detail that's going on, you're going to miss some stuff.
You are.
You're 100% going to miss some stuff. And so you need to be like locked in and figure out and know what's going on. Because
Yeah.
yep, because
Yeah.
you definitely will miss and be out of the loop on some information.
Yeah.
And I even dare say that I watched this set of episodes once and I kind of regret it. I wish I'd have watched it more. I wish I'd watched it at least twice to catch everything.
Yeah,
Because
that's fair.
there's a lot of information in
There's a
there.
lot of stuff going on, and it very heavily. The reason I call this the Ghorman Arc is because it is very heavily centered on what's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we heard about the Ghorman front, like it was mentioned in the first season, but
Hmm.
yeah, cool. What the fuck is that? Now you're starting to get an idea who the Ghorman front is. Now,
Hmm.
before we get into that, because I am going to talk about Ghorman, I want to talk about Luthen. Um, is it just me, or is he starting to get a little darker?
Yes. 100%.
And I'm not even
He
talking about. I'm not even talking about how he ordered the hit on Mon Mothma's friend. Like that was dark.
yeah.
But he's getting dark. His
He's
involvement. His
he's
involvement in.
getting
Go ahead.
it, well, go ahead and finish your thought, and then
His
I'll
involvement in the rebellion as a whole, like his, generally speaking, he is not boots on the ground in the rebellion. He is
hmm
behind everything. So he is the person that has to order all this crazy, nasty shit to happen.
hmm
And it's getting to him. It's That's a good point, Bear. That could be part of it. Is he getting paranoid? Or is he also start to exhibit some PTSD?
I think his character complexity is just getting worse and worse. Is it PTSDs? Yes. Is it the fact that he's interwoven too far into it? Yes. Is it the fact that he's trying to move too many cogs in the machine at
Mm-hmm.
once? Yes. Is it that he has his own ambitions in mind, but they are counterproductive to other people's ideas? Absolutely. Is his involvement and his wanting to force people to do things the way he wants them to do becoming an issue with other people? 100%. And you're starting to see that. You're starting to see that through Lonnie. You're starting to see that through Cassian. You're starting to see that through what's her face, his assistant.
Who, by the
Um
way, I did want to mention, she is getting more active.
Dude, I'm digging her, dude.
Yeah,
I love her.
yeah.
She is just not
I'm
afraid to bounce back against him. She's not afraid to jump in and take charge. She's pulling the strings and doing every bit as much as he is, if not more. And
um,
she's getting tired of his shit.
she's it's starting to affect her too. And
Yes,
and
100%.
and
And
I'm glad we're getting more of her.
yes, because in the first season we didn't see a lot. She was kind of present, but really was kind of one of those characters you're like, I know she's there.
Yeah.
Now she just hit her character literally storyline wise, I think has literally smacked people in the face with a sledgehammer and said, I am here and I'm ready to party.
Here's what I want to know. And this is for both Luthien um, and Kleya, for both of them.
Kleya, that's what
Um,
it was. I knew it was a K name.
Kleya, yeah,
Damn it.
Kleya is her name.
Yeah, Kleya.
What I want to know, and I don't know if we're going to get it this season, which is kind of disappointing. Maybe we will, but at the pace they're going, I just don't see that it's going to happen. But um, I would really like to know their motivation. Like, what put them on this path?
You
What
talking
put
about
them?
Lothan and her?
Yeah, both of her, like both him
Right.
and her. What put them on this path? Something happened to make him so, for lack of a better term, committed, and her too. What
But
happened?
but that's something that you and I have talked about on like our season one recap. Who is Lothan? Where did he actually come from? We only know thus far what we've seen from
That's
him.
what
We
I'm
don't
saying.
really know background. We don't know his motivations. We don't know why he is doing what he's doing. We don't know.
That's
I
what I
mean,
need.
we've
I want more. I want to know about these people.
yeah. And he's in my opinion, it's kind of interesting because he's always been about you, like you said, he's always been about being behind the scenes, manipulating, being in control, moving the pieces the way he needs to. And now he's starting to lose control. And you kind of see that in the third episode when Cassian just shows up at the shop
Yeah. And see,
and
you know
says,
what? I wonder I wonder if we're not going to get it in this show. We're not going to get that background. We're not going to find out what put them on this path. Maybe, if we're lucky, um, it is going to come out in this new novel trilogy that they're doing. It's the trilogy is called Reign of the Empire,
mm-hmm,
but only one of the books has been released so far. Uh,
okay,
so I wonder if we're going to get that background in here, and if that's the case, fine. I'm 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 fine with that.
right.
Um, I would like to see it in Andor. I don't think we're going to get it.
I'm okay with that as long as, like, in the end of the series, when the series concludes and we move into Rogue, like basically we stop and you meld right into Rogue One. I'm okay with that as long as it wraps up questions as far as his involvement and where his storyline ends, and then later people can go, hey, we'd like to hear more about Lothan. We'd like to know where he came from, how he got there,
Mm-hmm.
what his situation is, and because if he goes through this whole thing and basically he went from the pillar of control and manipulating the pieces and moving the chess pieces to losing control of his people and becoming too PTSD, too wrapped up, too, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Because obviously we know he loses control of Saw Gerrera, and you can kind of see that
Mm-hmm.
because that Saw Gerrera episode was definitely intriguing. It was like, wow, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And even I was confused. By the end of it, I was like, what? What the hell is going on? But um
Yeah.
like I said, obviously Saw Gerrera is going to do what he wants to do. Mon Mothma knows that he's getting too close, and he's starting to mess up her plans.
See,
He's tried to interrupt with he tried to interact with Bix, and he's the one giving her the stuff, and now he's trying to, he's basically doing it so that way he can get her back in the game and put her back in the thing. And then what the hell's her name? Kate Krayla? What? How did you say it?
oh, Kleya.
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 And then now Kleya's getting to the point where she's getting tired of him trying to manipulate things and being too involved and trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
He's. I think really what we're going to see is we're going to see a Luthen who sees that he's losing control, and it's going to make the dynamic even interesting,
Right.
which could be the catalyst for like my Mothma coming out, or
Right.
who knows?
Taking a more
Who
active
knows?
role. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be the reason why the rebellion has to do what it has to do. He could be the reason for the whole thing. And unfortunately, like Cassian and Kleya and Saw and all of them are just like to the point where he kind of forces the hand and
Yeah.
not even knowing what's going on. Not even
Right.
knowing that's where it ends up.
You mentioned Saw Gerrera, who I do think kind of beats to his own drum, but I also see that maybe to a certain extent, he slightly does answer to Luthien.
Cassian.
Saw
Oh.
to a certain extent, like
I think he does. I think he does to the point of he relies on him not only for information,
for
but he
intelligence.
also not only in intelligence and information, but he also relies on him for like supplies.
Right, right. So
Right.
that's what I
But
see.
obviously, we can kind
To
of
an
see.
extent, he depends on Luthien, and but put yourself in Luthien's boots. Imagine the pressure that you is on you. You
Yeah.
have you have Saw's rebels that are like just going and killing people and doing crazy shit, and it's like, oh my god, he's driving me nuts. And then you have all this subterfuge and espionage stuff that you have to like keep. You've got all these pieces on the board, and then you've got to deal with Mon Mothma because you got to she's dealing with the political side of everything, and I got to
Hmm.
keep her in check and keep her safe. And then you've got like you got to keep Saw, whatever the hell he's doing. You got and then bring in what the hell's going on with Ghorman? What Okay, I've got one more piece to put on my board that I got to worry about. It's driving
Well, and
me
he's
nuts.
well, and you actually you missed one too, Lonnie.
I did, and I was going to mention him. You got to
Yeah.
deal with him, protecting him in the ISB, which he's like in the belly of the beast. And
Well, not just protecting him, but at any time, Lonnie could turn his back on him and turn him into the Empire. So
that
it's
is
not just
true.
protecting him, but it's making sure that he doesn't like lose his crap and turn him into the Empire and say, this guy's been trying to manipulate me all along. This guy's a rebel, this guy's a separatist rebel spy, whatever.
Yeah,
And then she freaking grabs him so that way she can fix a problem with one of their listening devices and almost gets him exposed on top of it.
yeah,
While Director Krennic is standing there.
yeah.
While they're all these people are in the room, including Lothan, including Mon Mothma, including her husband, including Director Klinik,
And
including all these Imperial officers.
Lonnie's driving Kleya nuts. She's like, just move to the left. God damn it.
Yeah, oh, that scene was freaking, man, that was crazy. And then they both walk out and they're both smiling and laughing like nothing happened. I'm going, what? Are
Uh,
you kidding me?
it's all part of the show. It's
It's
all
all
part of
part of the
the
plan.
all part of
That's what.
but
That's why that moment. Honestly, it wasn't everything that she did, like mouthing off to Lothan. That was Mike. The most interesting part for me. The most interesting part for me is when they got done and she's sitting there telling him what to do, and she's trying to get him to do stuff so she can get this device out of there. And then as they're walking out, they're both smoking and joking like nothing happened. And I'm
mhm.
going, okay, I want more of this.
But
I
that
want to
scene
see
was
where this
tense.
ends up.
That scene was
Yeah.
tense
Oh,
because like you said, you've got Krennic 15 feet away. It's like, fuck.
and Mon Mothma and him are having an argument about things, about past history,
Politics.
and yeah, and politics. And you know who Director Krennic is, and the kind of person that he could be. On top of Imperial officers, on top of Lonnie, who's a plant, on top of her, who's trying to get a listening device, on top of Lothan, who's obviously manipulating every side of the coin, on top of her husband or Mothma's husband that she can't even trust. I'm going, and then you've got that shady dealer guy or whatever that their daughter married the son. In all the room at the same, you got all these different people, all these dynamic characters in their time, and in between all of that, she's trying to get this thing situated, and Lonnie's sweating like a. Yeah, that scene was interesting.
Yeah, no, there's I mean, yeah, it's getting crazy. The espionage is real in the show. There's a lot of spy
Oh
shit
yeah,
going on.
yeah. This
And
three
now
episodes, in
on
my
top of
opinion,
that, you got freaking double agent Syril
Oh
working on
God.
Ghorman,
Uh,
and it's just crazy. And then okay, I'm going to mention this scene only once.
I know what it is.
That's all I'm
Yeah,
going to say about it.
yeah, like you said, on top of it, then you got that whole Gorman thing going on. You got the double agent Cyril. Then you got Cassian showing up there while he's conveniently gone, and they don't see each other, even though they know who each other is. And that whole relationship. And then on top of it, I can't tell whether she's using him to further her career, but not wanting to like use him, kind of thing. Like
Oh,
I can't
Dedra?
tell whether, yeah, like
Oh,
Dedra,
she's using him.
is she using Cyril as an expendable asset, or is she just using him and she's telling the Empire that he's an expendable asset? I'm not sure how that's going to work yet.
She is using him.
I don't know.
She
I don't know. I'm not sure. She doesn't seem like
she doesn't
I,
seem the relationship type.
but she also doesn't seem like a person who would use. How do I say this? Because we're trying to keep it TV-14, right?
Dude,
um,
this is not a kid show.
I know. She's basically using like the sexual advantage to keep him. Is she using it to keep him on a leash? Or is she using it to let him know that she actually does care about him, or she is still interested in him? That's what I can't figure. And I can't tell, is she using him to advance herself in the Empire, or because now we've got this situation where she's using intimacy to keep him wrangled in, but using her intimate partner to further herself in the Empire.
She's no, she is furthering herself. Listen, she just got put in charge of Gorman.
Right.
Oh, is it a coincidence that her boyfriend now works on Gorman? Come
Well,
on.
no, but at the same time, did she see an opportunity to use him and now she's using him to further her career, or is the relationship that they had, because their relationship was going on before they went to Gorman. So there was
Right.
actually a relationship there, and
But she's
she
waiting for
actually
her moment.
put his mom in check, and I'm assuming it's because she cares about him. So now has she
I
switched from
don't
I
think
care
so.
about him to I don't know.
I don't
But see,
think so.
that's the thing about it though, is we don't know. We don't know for sure
I
how this is going to end up.
I think she was waiting for the moment to be able to use him.
I don't know,
This guy,
man.
no,
I
listen,
don't.
this guy, ever since he lost his job, wants so bad to get back into the action.
Right.
He wants it so bad. So she is like, how can I use this to my advantage? So she's being patient. She's waiting it out. And then, oh, I'm
And
going to
see,
Gorman.
I
Oh,
think as the
I can put you in charge of the bureau thingamajigger on Gorman and then use you to infiltrate the rebel cell there.
right. But see, I think as the audience, I think we're meant to debate that though. I
I'm
really do.
sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think it's a fact of what, your point of view as opposed to my point of view. Do I think do we think he's being manipulated and she's just using him as a crutch, or not a crutch, but as an asset to get her further along in the Empire? Is she using him because it's her boyfriend and he can, she can, kind of guide him the way she
And
needs
here's
it
the
to
thing,
work
though.
to further herself?
If she really cared about him, why would she put him in that position?
Well, it's not really a position of danger. It was just an office position.
No, 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 no. He's a spy.
You're right, but he's not in a position where he's like supposed to be in like heavy battle or
Is
contact
he
with
though?
like,
I mean,
well,
anything could happen.
he's got himself in that situation, but I
Anything could
don't think that
happen if
was
you're
the
trying to infiltrate a spy organization.
right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's as much danger as like say Cassian. Cassian
Oh
is more
no,
like
no,
Cassian is more like in the combat, like
sure,
spy fatigue, that kind
but
of thing.
we
Where
have
I think Cyril was just meant as a plant to get information and to make contact with them to relay information back and forth. I don't think he was ever meant as a quote unquote military asset
but
because I don't think she's got to know that
she has to know
he
there's
can't
going to be an
actually do that.
element of danger.
Well, there always is, but I don't know. I'm still of the mind that I'm not sure how that's going to play out. One thing we know for sure, I mean, and obviously this is because the story has become more dynamic after, obviously, way after Rogue One was made. But one thing we know for sure is that people like Dedra, Syril, those kind of people, you don't hear or see anything about them. So if they plan on writing more stories about them and they continue something about them later down the road, maybe they don't, something doesn't happen to them.
Hmm,
But I'm
you're all
thinking a
gonna
lot
die.
of these characters, well, that's my opinion. I think a lot of these characters that we're seeing in the show, I think a lot of them are expendable, and I think a lot of them are going to go away before the series is over with, to be honest with you. And we've kind of seen that already. If we haven't really got into that yet, but we've already seen that characters are starting to become expendable.
Well, and that was something I'm going to bring up. But before we bring that up, I do want to talk a little bit because this is the Ghorman Arc. Let's talk about Ghorman a little bit.
Okay.
So this is once again a new planet we've never seen before. We've heard about, but we've never seen it. So it's fairly, dare I say, industrial. It's not a farm planet, I guess is what I'm getting at. But we have heard about them through various. Uh, okay, Matthew. We heard about them through various um, Senate debates, um, and we hear about them as from Saw as being another rebel cell that we never get to hear about. We hear about a protest that took place that ended very violently for the Gormanians. What I don't know, the Gorman people.
Hmm.
But we never get to we never get to see it. So finally, we get to see it. Um, and so it's like I said, it's not a farm planet. It's fairly industrial. The Empire is building a new armory there. Um, they they also have a different language. So these are human characters that speak something other than basic.
I kind of got a French vibe from him. I don't know about you.
You got a what? A French vibe?
I kind of a French vibe.
I
I
could,
kind of got a French European vibe from these
yeah,
people.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, even their language was kind of, it almost seemed like it was, and obviously I don't speak French, so I don't know. But they were speaking in a dialect and it sounded very French-esque. So there's a good chance that it may actually be a language or it could be French. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I think somebody who speaks it, maybe you could enlighten us a little bit. Maybe they know a little bit more about it. But yeah, I kind of got a French cultural vibe from them out of that whole thing.
yeah, I could see that. I
Yeah.
could definitely see that.
Hmm.
I do think we're going to get a lot more because I think we're going to see more of the repercussions of, well, what happened at the end, in the final episode of this arc. But also uh, just kind of their overall, like the Empire knows there's rebels there.
Yeah.
It's no
Well,
secret,
thanks to Cyril.
right? Right.
And what's interesting to me is that, and I know we'll get to another aspect of the whole thing, but in the heist, in the end, the whole point of them letting them get away with it was to let them feel comfortable.
Right. Right. That was the whole point of letting this whole heist go, like, continue.
Yeah,
So they
they
said we're
wanted them to
gonna,
feel
yeah,
comfortable. They wanted to let them feel like they achieved something.
I want it. Yeah.
And now, if we get a 1 year time jump, obviously, like you said, the armory's probably going to be built at that point. You know, how bold have the rebels, the people on Gorman been from the 1 year ago to now? You know, obviously, we'll be missing a lot of information there. We won't know, and until obviously tonight's episode, tonight's three part episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of left on a little bit of a weird cliffhanger for me because, like I said, with the time jump that they're doing, it's going to be like, well, okay, I guess we'll see how it plays into the next episodes.
You, you know what, Bear? You are right. And it just dawned on me what Gorman feels like to me.
Hmm.
And a lot of you in the chat have probably never watched this movie. I don't even know if JD has. But have you ever watched Casablanca?
Oh God, a long time ago.
Okay.
Long time ago.
I get some Casablanca influenced vibes with Gorman. Um but yeah, definitely European influence
Yeah.
here with the Gormans.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, definitely like inside the Empire, World War II,
yeah,
French Resistance, like the French Resistance from World War II
right,
kind of
right,
thing. Yeah.
right. Um so yeah, that just kind of like that's part of that whole different language because they're not speaking basic like everybody else is. So they're a little bit apart from the main rebellion.
Hmm.
But
Well,
yeah,
and you know what though? You know what though? I kind of tend to think that that's kind of the point of these different episodes is that you have all these different factions of the rebellion. Like, because those guys that were on in the first arc, those guys that were on Yavin 4 that kind of didn't know what was going on, they didn't have the information. That was a different sect of like what could be part of the rebellion. The Gorman rebels could be part of it. You know,
mhm,
Saul Guerrero's would have been, but obviously we know he kind of breaks away. And we're kind of seeing these different factions that are coming together, forming these rebellions. And I wonder, I'm not 100%, out of the, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Lothan's and Cassian's and Mon Mothma's interaction with all these people and these different things that are going on is not going to be the trigger that brings all of them together into one
right,
rebellion.
right,
And
and
maybe
and I
that could be the point of that could be the whole point of all these episodes is seeing all these different rebel factions coming together into one and then starting to act kind of thing. Because the Empire sees it as Gorman rebels,
yeah,
or Saw Gerrera's rebels. They don't see it as one rebel faction. They don't see it as one rebel resistance.
right, and I
They
honestly
see
don't
it as
think
these different sects.
I don't think we get that for real until the end of Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because the first time you actually see all these different sections together is in Rogue One at the end when they try to convince them to attack Scarif.
Right,
And none of them want to do it. And you kind of know from that they've never actually gotten together and made a tactical move against the Empire.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh,
I mean, like I said, that may be the point of the whole thing is the fact that they're showcasing all these different rebellions and then them finally trying to get them to come together or show, the end of the show may be that when Mon Mothma decides to come out as a rebel leader, she comes out in some type of speech or some type of show of solidarity towards all these people that are having problems with the rebellion. And that's what triggers the whole thing. And that's how they all get together. I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's going to be some type of battle that wakes everybody up that says, "Oh my God, look what's going on! Look what's happening! The Empire is not your friend," and that's when we start to really see separations of these rebellious factions.
Yeah. Um, so in the final episode of this arc, we get uh, this arc's character death.
Mm,
So we got one character death in episode 3. We get another one in episode 6, and this one is, of course, Senta,
mhm.
who essentially gets kind of killed by friendly fire,
Yeah. No, I
because
100. Well, I mean, it wasn't even really friendly fire. It was
because
more of a.
a certain inept rebel can't follow instructions.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, um, I don't know what do you think of that whole
Uh,
scene?
um, the whole scene, I think it's essential in the fact that I think it's a foreshadow. To be honest, I think it's a foreshadow of what's to come. I think that we're getting a few deaths of major characters here and there, or people that we've come to know throughout the series. But I think I think it's a foreshadow of what's to come. I think it's a hey, just so you know, it's about to get worse. And do I like the scene? I'm gonna say not particularly. Um,
And why not? I'm curious.
because how do I say it? The scene didn't set well with me just because the way she died was cheesy. If for lack of a better way of saying it.
No, I get that.
The fact that he's got a guy that's coming up and he can't explain the situation and he pulls his gun on him because he's inept because he doesn't know what's going on. Little bit of a tussle, and then there's a shot fired and it just hits her and she keels over dead, and that's it. It just didn't The whole scene didn't sit well with me, and it just didn't sit well with me because I just don't think it was. I don't know. It just seemed cheesy to me. It just seemed that the fact that they had this little tussle, they shoot, she dies by accident, and then her girlfriend goes into this big, huge tirade about remember her, remember what you did. I hope it stays with you forever, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not necessarily upset about her doing that because he essentially, through his stupidity, killed her lover, and her significant other. But it just when I saw the scene and then I saw that she was dead because of it, I was kind of like, something about it just didn't sit well with me.
Hmm.
It just seemed kind of cheesy, and it kind of seemed like they were trying to force a point. And so I mean, obviously, I'm sad about the fact that she passed
Yeah.
because she was a pretty cool character, and I liked the dynamic between the two of them. Um, but and then her whole speech that she went against him on, it's not like it was not it was not. I mean, I know it was an accident; somebody lost their life because of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not making excuses for the guy, but it's not like he had any intention of doing that, and it was just as much the other guy trying to fight him as it was him, and they could have resolved the situation a lot easier, but instead there was a tussle, so it kind of felt almost like it was kind of cheesy and forced, but I think it was to make a point, though. I think it was 100% to make a point. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was done to make a point because I honestly do think that this is like a foreshadow of what's to come, and I do think, like we were talking earlier, I think a lot of these characters that we know who survives, obviously,
Hmm.
but I think these other characters are on a very short on a very short timeline, if you will. I guess I don't know kind of really how else to explain it, but
No, I
I
get it.
think
I get it.
their time is limited, and I think that's what this whole scene is kind of saying is that yeah, remember these people because in the end they're not going to be with us, and so yeah, I think it's like I said, I think it's a foreshadow of what's to come.
Yeah, and like Matthew was saying, so far, all the deaths that we have gotten are not they're not major characters.
No,
Uh,
I
uh,
think it's and I think that's done on purpose.
although he was a good character, Brasso was not a main character.
And the other gal, I mean, she was still a background character that we knew. But like it's why I
Cinta, you
said,
talking
I
about
think it's
Cinta?
I yeah, Cinta. I
Yeah,
think
no, that's what I'm
that's
saying.
why,
Cinta was not a main character.
but neither was the other guy too that died. Brassel.
That's the point I'm making. Is that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all the people we're
I
seeing that have died are not main characters. Even going
yeah,
back to the first season, we get uh oh shit, I don't even remember their names. Um the young kid who did the manifesto,
yeah,
accidental death,
yeah,
accidental death. Um and then the other guy who turned out to be a piece of crap uh at the Aldani heist gets killed by
yeah,
Cassian. But yeah, so far we haven't got any main character deaths yet.
yeah. Which, like I said, I think this is just done to soften the blow. I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see main characters die, and I
Oh, I,
think maybe not in the next three, but I think
I
by
would
the
doubt
time we
that
get
for
to
a second.
yeah, I think by the last three episodes, I think we're going to see some major characters go bye bye.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Um, all right. Any further thoughts that you would like to mention that we haven't already discussed about 4, 5, and 6 of Andor season 2, aka the Gorman arc?
The Gorman arc.
The
Well,
Gorman
like I
arc.
said before, I kind of said this at the beginning of it. I think that what's going on Gorman, as far as like the spiders are concerned and things, I think it's going to be kind of like a prison type situation. We don't know what the interest is, but if Krennic's involved, there's something about what they're making there that is going to be important. So I think it'll be like a shocking reveal type situation whenever the Gorman arc is finished or whenever the season is finished. And it's going to be these three episodes were very much make sure you're paying attention, make sure that you're watching every detail that's going on, make sure you're seeing how these characters are interacting with one another because it's going to really affect how things are going forward. And at the end of the whole thing, we see Bix really take charge of her PTSDs and take charge of what's going on in her life, and she smokes the guy.
We almost didn't talk about that, but yeah,
Yeah, she lets him suffer for a good, I would say probably 5, 10 minutes, and then you see Cassian pop out of the shadows and end it, and which is a
yeah,
very bold move. Which is a very bold move for him
yeah,
because that means he was actually in there. He was in with the Empire. He was probably seeing they're stepping beyond just being in the shadows, and they're getting into it from an active point of view. And
mhm,
that means they're kind of stepping away from Luthen's role as being their handler, and they're taking matters into their own hands. And
right.
so, which I think is great for her. I hate to see her fall into. I'm assuming was Spice or something like it.
Something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
again,
hate to see.
we're getting into drug use too.
Yeah, we're getting into PTSDs. We're getting into sexual assault. We're getting into how the effects of PTSDs can be, how the hallucinations, the
Hmm.
sleepless nights, things like that. Now we're getting into drug use and things like that, which is, I mean, really getting into the. I mean, we get really heavily laden into getting into the crux of that kind of stuff, and yeah, they're really like we said, this is adult type stuff. This isn't the kids Star Wars that we're used to. This is adult stuff. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Lothan tries to wrangle everybody back in, tries to keep him doing what he wants, whilst
Mhm.
trying to um make sure that that the rebellion stays secret and they're manipulating things and trying to keep Mon Mothma from revealing her position, which eventually we already know is going to happen. It's going that she will. So yeah, this was definitely a very political intrigue set of three episodes, and I think it's going to set up some very interesting things to come.
What do you think is going to happen in the next episodes?
Man, I would say that I would try to predict, but I don't know. I honestly don't
Matthew, I
know.
have got some very bad news for you. Just, I think he is going to die a very horrible death.
Yeah, I think so too.
And to be honest, I hope that
I
I
think so
get to
too.
see it. Um,
We only know of, let's
I
see.
hope it doesn't happen
We
off
know
camera.
we know in this show, we know of three characters that are guaranteed to survive through to Rogue One. No, four.
Andor,
I think four.
Shaw, Mon Mothma,
And Krennic.
and Krennic. Yep.
And Krennic. Those are the four we know will survive that we've seen. Now, when K2SO shows up, that'll be five. But anyway, those are the four that we've seen so far that we know survive onto Rogue One. Everybody else is open for discussion. It's open for debate.
Here's
So,
what needs to happen in one of the next episodes before the end of the season is we need to get the reveal that um oh shit, Andy Serkis's character survived.
man, I'd love to see that there's something that happened with him that worked out, but I just don't think we will. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
we'll get to
so,
see
but
it.
one can hope. One can hope.
Yeah, I think that story is going to be left to the imagination, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. All
Mhm.
right. Oh man. So another good 3 episodes of Andor, some good Star Wars. Next week, of course, we're going to be handling or exploring 7, 8, 9, which we will be watching shortly after this podcast closes up. But thanks everybody for coming in and watching, hanging out in the chat room, listening to us babble about Andor. And thank you everybody who's out there watching on the replays. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and most importantly subscribe. And if you like it enough, donate $2 a month to our patron. Um, engage with us on social media. Go to our Discord. And other than that, may the force be with you.